In the late 1960s, the NASCAR Grand National Series was a battleground where automotive giants fought for supremacy. It was a relentless struggle between Chrysler, represented by its Plymouth and Dodge divisions, and Ford, backed by Mercury. The introduction of Chrysler's iconic 426 HEMI V8 engine had tilted the scales in favor of the Mopar champ, but Ford was determined to catch up. In 1968, Ford introduced a new two-door fastback body for their Grand Torino and Cyclone intermediates. This sleek design proved to be highly aerodynamic, helping Ford-backed Holman-Moody secure the championship with David Pearson behind the wheel of a Torino. For the next season, Ford continued to push the envelope. They not only homologated the powerful 429 Boss engine for competition by making it available in the Mustang, but also worked closely with Holman-Moody to further enhance the Torino Cyclone body aerodynamics. This combination led to the birth of the 1969 Ford Torino Talladega and the original Mercury Cyclone Spoiler 2. Both of these models made it into production, albeit for homologation purposes only, and they featured redesigned front fascias that significantly improved their aerodynamic profiles. This not only helped Ford defend its NASCAR title, but also attracted stock car legend Richard Petty, who switched to a Talladega that season. This forced Chrysler to respond, and in 1969 Chrysler responded with the Dodge Charger Daytona. While it was not developed quickly enough to pose a real threat, it showed great potential in the final races of that season. For the 1970 season, the legendary Plymouth Superbird was ready to join the NASCAR aero battle, setting its sights on Ford. Initial tests showed great promise, prompting Richard Petty to switch back to Plymouth. Back at Ford's headquarters in Dearborn, there was a significant problem. While the Torino spoiler models had received a major redesign, wind tunnel testing revealed that the rear section's aerodynamics were inferior to the 1968 and 1969 versions. The sloped front fascia from the Talladega and the Spoiler 2 was no longer a viable option. To address this, a team of talented designers led by Larry Shinoda set out to redesign the entire front section of the new 1970 body. This marked the birth of the Ford Torino King Cobra. Unlike its predecessors and competitors, which often had aerodynamic components attached to existing bodies, the King Cobra was a ground-up redesign featuring a unique sloping hood, radical fenders, and a bold front fascia with headlight covers to minimize drag. In line with homologation requirements for 1970, Ford and its partners developed 3 to 5 fully functional street-legal prototypes in just a few months. Mercury's project started a bit later, resulting in only 2 fully developed prototypes. Just like Plymouth did with the Superbird, the Torino King Cobra and its Mercury counterpart was slated to offer a range of V8 engines to appeal to a wider customer base. Among them was the street version of the Boss 429, making these aero cars some of Ford's fastest and most potent intermediates of the time. One of the Holman-Moody prepped King Cobra prototypes was extensively tested at Daytona, with Cale Yarborough behind the wheel. Unfortunately, the legendary driver's feedback was far from positive. He noted a lack of front downforce, causing stability issues at high speeds. It's widely believed that this issue, coupled with its high production costs, led to Ford's decision to cancel the project. However, it is important to note that the downforce issue could have been resolved by adding a front spoiler and a large rear wing. But according to insiders like stylist Harvey Wynn, the real reason behind the project's cancellation was the internal politics at Ford. A disagreement between CEO Henry Ford II and President Simon Knudsen led to Knudsen's dismissal. The company subsequently purged Knudsen's close associates, including Larry Shinoda. With Shinoda out of the picture and a focus on cost-cutting, the King Cobra project made an unfortunate end. If it had continued, Ford might have halted Plymouth's march toward the Grand National Series title in 1970, making the epic 1970 model year even more thrilling with the addition of the 2 Boss 429 powered aero cars. Today, just 3 Ford Torino King Cobra prototypes are known to have survived. The sole King Cobra, equipped with a mighty 429 Boss engine, was sold at a Mecury auction in 2019 for $192,500. The second, featuring a 429 Cobra jet, is owned by Ford collector Steve Honnell. The third surviving King Cobra Also a 429 Cobra jet model, and known for being the only pristine unrestored example, was recently up for auction with the highest bid reaching $350,000, although it didn't change ownership. The Mercury version, developed under the Cyclone Spoiler 2 name, but rumored to have been marketed as the Cyclone Super Spoiler, was long considered a myth. However, one of the two prototypes was found in a barn in Indiana by none other than Steve Honnell, who restored the car and its 429 Boss engine in time for Ford's 100th anniversary, bringing one of the most intriguing chapters in automotive history back to life. Now, these cars have a really cool story, and I hope throughout this video you guys learn something new. I will say, I would think that these cars would be worth a little more because of their history as well as how rare they are. I mean, the one of one 429 Boss sold for only $192,000. I know it's a lot, but I feel like it's worth a bit more. But at the end of the video, please let me know what you thought of the video number 1 and what you think of these really cool cars. And then if you want to know more on the Torino Cobra, I made a whole video just on that car. So that you get the Torino King Cobra, which is this prototype, and then you get the Torino before that they competed with. So in the beginning of this video, I talked about how they dominated in 1968 and 1969, and I made a full video where I go more in depth in the whole process behind that car. So if you want to watch that, go and watch that video after this one. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please have a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys did like it, you'll most probably like most of my other stuff. So just go through my channel, see if there's something else you like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers, eh?